Greetings, I'm Critters, and today, let's delve into the making of Adventure Calls. Of the animations I've done, Adventure Calls is one of the more different types of stories I've created. It's uplifting, but bright and happy. The underlying basis behind the idea sprung about from my 6-week trip to Europe earlier this year. During my time away, I felt inspired in trying to capture the feelings I had from my trip into a short animation, which I figured would be a nice change from stories I've done previously. The animation then became about the call to adventure and the types of experiences you make when you pursue them. From there, the title, Adventure Calls, came about very quickly. I began by going through all the notes I captured during my trip and distilled them into potential scene and story ideas to use. From here, it was a matter of sifting through the ones which resonated with the theme of adventure and the experiences you make from one. Each of the scenes I aimed to insert some aspect of the trip I did, be it locations or the activities. The big question I faced early on then was how was I going to tell it? Chill Step was the main music I was listening to and became a good source of inspiration for the tone I was going for. I knew from there that it would borrow some characteristics of music videos, but still retain a heavy story focus throughout. I settled on the track Saphira by Dematis to use as the song that shapes the direction and tone of the story. This offered the advantage of creating the animation to the music. But put constraints on the ideas I wanted to include within a 3.5-minute track. Then it was time to begin animating. The animation begins with the main character, Critters, getting ready for the trip. The Critters skin was designed by me, which was based off the profile illustrated by Oleg Soy. I took to modeling and texturing some assets for the bedroom, including other objects like the camera and the travel case that would be used later. The whiteboard displays an assortment of bookmarked elements that Critters wants to explore, including an aurora photo and a checklist of things to do before going. Upon messaging his friends, he finishes prepping and prepares to set off. The city map I used was the Alma Bay City by Minenitrogue. It's a huge city world with lots of points of interest and regions to encounter, the airport and the train stations being just a small part of it. The train design was by DreamWanderer on Planet Minecraft. After he exits the station, he encounters his friends, Wilfred and Moose, and the three set off. The trio begin catching up with each other as they navigate their local surroundings. The vehicles were sourced from a few vehicle packs on Planet Minecraft, which I brought in and animated. All the skin artists I used are on screen now. Links to check out the skins and other assets are in the description. I also modeled and rigged my first backpack. For the most part, it was turning out well, but after rendering the scenes, the straps were all, well, freaking out. Thanks to my inexperience with rigging, my solution to deleting all the strap keyframes solved nearly all of the glitchy behaviour, though some shots still show up briefly. The trio continued their conversations at a park, where they laugh and enjoy each other's company. Upon sharing his plans of wanting to explore, Wilfred suggests to check out a castle the following day, and the three agree to visit it. The art pieces at the store were photos I took during my trip, which I applied a Voronoi texture to each of them to achieve a pixelated result. This process was also carried over to the wallpapers hanging in Critter's bedroom earlier. The trio make a toast to adventure, and well, what better way to portray that sense of adventure with a day trip to a castle? The castle map was by Fall Studios, which I felt had a good size for the trio to explore some of the different areas you perhaps find within. The helmet model was part of the Vanilla Armor's Reforged resource pack by Giratina Luigi. When they get to the top, the set doesn't actually extend that far out, so I had to duplicate the world set and offset it to not show the edge of the world. That also meant I spent a bit of time removing a duplicate castle that appeared. Their day trip to the castle concludes, and Critters parts ways with Wilfred and Moose for now, to continue on his journey. Although the ferry scene primarily bridges the city and nature scenes together, it still manages to convey a feeling of adventure. It was based off the cruise along the Swedish archipelagos, and the colours of the sky as the sunset came was one element I knew I had to replicate. The Wyspa Pani map by Test Robot had this shoreline that framed a nice backdrop. The ferry build was from Scruto 1, and is actually the same ferry that I took to get from Sweden to Finland. Creating a slightly lower key shot whilst maintaining visual spectacle in the sunset took a bit of time working out, but the process was great, and I quite liked the final result. We slow down a little bit as Critters hikes through a forest. This world was La Brise du Nord by Dill Art, which felt fitting for capturing the look of a Scandinavian forest, I think. In Minecraft at least. Along the hike, he spots an interesting bird which he tries to photograph. This bird design is based off an Australian red-winged parrot, and is one of many custom parrot textures in my Aussie Parrots resource pack. Link to check that out will be in the description. After a short break, Critters continues to his last destination, where he meets with his friends once more to find some auroras. This snowy winter world map was from Hubiug on Planet Minecraft, which had a very wide landscape to play with. Upon arrival, the group are enveloped in a snowstorm, but once it passes, the sky clears, and the group get to searching for auroras. Of all the effects, the auroras were the things I was looking forward to the most, but when it came to producing them, I was disappointed as I barely spent any time researching and designing them, probably due to me pushing them back and wanting to get ahead on other fronts. The basis of the auroras was derived from this tutorial by Build, which consisted mostly of a geometry node setup. The aurora's fading in was controlled by a gradient mask. This is definitely something I've learned going forward to tackle something complex and exciting like an aurora early on. That way you get great results and you have plenty of time to work with and fix things if they need changing. Each of the members take their time to appreciate the sights, eventually turning to Critters for getting a group photo. When the camera clicks to life, Critters' adventure ends, and after returning home, he reflects on the time he had and is grateful for the experiences he made along the way. It felt fitting to circle back to where it all started. The board that once displayed things he wanted to experience now contains memories and moments from his adventure. The thumbnail designs were created to mimic the art pieces used on chill step videos, many of which I believe emphasize that sense of escaping on adventures and following where life takes you. I honestly wish I could have spent some additional time tweaking the colours and lighting to emphasize that dreamy look and the longing for adventure, but otherwise I enjoyed putting these thumbnails together. Creating this was an exciting prospect. Making something that was both different to what I've done and a bit more personal was a new challenge for me to capture in animation. Despite some stuff getting cut out or running into certain problems, I'm pleased with the final outcome, and based off the initial responses, I'm glad that people enjoy it too. There's definitely other story ideas like this that I'll be eager to make, but for now, we'll have to see what comes next. An adventure beckons within all of us. Will you answer yours? I need to practice what I preach in the video and go on another adventure myself actually.
No, good morning.